Hello, fellow tubers. Today I'm going to take you through a little bit of painting. The last video we did showed some of the painting techniques used on the mountain, the leopard spotting technique. As you see, the mountain is now done. We've got it to a point where I think I'm happy with the look of the rock, and so the entire mountain face is coated now. And if you also take a look, I did some experimentation with the leopard spotting technique on the rocky outcroppings of the low hills here. Pretty happy with the way they turned out. The technique definitely works well on that. And the brown paint you see surrounding the rocky outcroppings, that's just the earth tones coating. All that will be covered with grass and bushes and stuff like that once we're getting to that step. So with that though, what I thought I would do today is just show you once again with this whole wash technique how it works when it comes to other items like the portal that you see on the right or the retaining wall that's on the left. So what I thought we'd start with is the retaining wall. What I've done is I've mixed up some of the Woodland Scenics concrete color and mixed it with a little black just to make it a little bit darker, and I've mixed it with water, quite a bit of water that's in there. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to apply it in the technique that we've described earlier, which is really just blotting it on and letting the color run down through the crevices and the cracks, making sure that it's all covered. Make sure that you can see the water. You can see how it just runs, the liquid. And but that's what we want. We want it to free flow and really get into every little nook and cranny of that retaining wall. So the next step we do, we just gotta let it sit and dry for a moment, because what we want to do is let the color that's already been applied, bind with the material that the retaining wall is made out of, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit more and actually blot it again, but only in certain spots, to give it that blotchy look and uneven surface, and that gives the paint its depth, the color, and it really shows well then on the effect that we're looking for, to give it that realistic look. Now what I'll do then while that's drying is I'm going to take my raw umber color and I'm going to apply it to the portal that's here, because this portal is made out of wood. It's supposed to be made out of wood. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to exactly the same technique. As you see, I'm just blotting it all over the whole thing, letting that paint run through all the cracks, getting into every crevice. Right? You can see that it's already showing darker and lighter in some places. Sorry for my camera work, folks, but I don't have a tripod for this, so I have to do it by hand. Now with this one, we have to make sure we get it on the sides, inside the portal, right, on the top, I really got to find a way to hold this camera better. Okay, so the other step that I'm going to do, and I just got to make sure I take this off the top here, this extra paint, make sure it blots off. There we go. So same thing we're going to do. We're going to let that dry a little bit, right, before we apply another coat to it to give it that uneven wood surface, right? But you can already see that it's starting to dry already. That's just because of how thin the paint is in this wash format that we're using. And you can see how it's already starting to look like wood, weathered timber, because of the fact of it's being a wash. So what I'll do is while that's drying, let's move back to our retaining wall for a moment, and we'll do the last step on the retaining wall. And the last step is to apply a black wash to allow the look to pop. So I've already got some wash mixed up here, very thin black acrylic paint mixed with a lot of water. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to touch the top and let it run down. Get in all those crevices. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the concrete pop. Just clean up there on the bottom. There we go. There. Perfect. So I like the look. It's got a nice uneven mottled surface to it. Stone. Nice stone kind of concrete kind of look. And then of course with that black wash it stained it nicely. So with that we're going to do another coat here of the portal. And so remember, this is the one where we're going to blot it here and there to give it an uneven look. We don't want the whole thing recovered because we don't want it all done. Get rid of some of that excess that's there. Right. So you can see the timbers. Right. Nice look to it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to apply the same black wash technique to this one. And we're going to let that run straight down. It'll get into all of the cracks and places where there's some imperfections in the hydrocal, what these things are made out of. It's fantastic stuff. It's made by Woodland Scenics. And I would definitely encourage anyone who's wanting to make this type of thing to use it, because the way it absorbs paint and takes the colors, you just can't replicate it with other things, at least not that I've found. So if there's anybody out there that has some suggestions or previous experience with some other product that will work as good as the hydrocal, I'd really like to know, and please leave me some comments then that show it. But there you go. We have a wooden tunnel portal. It's got a little bit of age going to it. I did one earlier on, and this one, because of some cracks that were put in it by the previous owner, they put it back together again. I wanted to cover up the cracks because there was obviously some non-hydrocal used to patch this thing up to put it back together again, which basically shattered in a few pieces. So what I've done is I've put some greenery on it using some white glue in very small beaded patterns. And you see some white, there's still some white showing there, but that will, when it dries fully, it'll disappear, it'll go clear. But I've made some green vines along the side and up, and basically that's covering all of the cracks that were in this thing before. So when I put that one over there on that tunnel portal for that, it's an automobile tunnel. When I put that portal on there, I'll just have to keep that greenery going, put some vines around on the mountain to really blend it all in with some of the with grass and shrubs, etc., just to give it that nice mossy look. But this one wasn't broken, so I like the look, and that one will go on our tunnel over on the other side by where the waterfall is going. And I do still have some retaining wall that I have to finish and get that all finalized for where that will be input, which is over on that flat spot right in there where the tunnel comes out. So we will we'll put that retaining wall and stick it right there to the mountain, and then we can start finishing off that section. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, please leave them on the site, and I will try to address them. And in the meantime, we'll be talking later.